Hey, what's up, everybody? Mr. BuildWealth. I'm back at it again. And if this is your first time joining me, I'm here to share some information and resources that can help you get started with building wealth. The topic for this session is couples advice. And I wanted to come on here and talk about how you and your significant other, your wife, your husband, like how you all can kind of keep the peace is what I'll say. And I wanted to start off by first sharing a story around some strategies that I've heard couples utilize that help them to get comfortable with money, but to also when things arise, it's not such a tough conversation to have. And so because they put these systems in place, when there are financial matters that, need to be addressed, they can be addressed accordingly. So you're not trying to like argue. It's just, hey, something comes up, you get it done. So the first story I want to share is that this is a really good friend of mine, and they have a very unique system is what I'll say. They have this system to where, well, take a step back. Both of them are in banking. They're both, senior level people within financial institutions. So they make great money. I think the wife makes a little bit more than the hubby, but they make real good money. And so I was having a conversation about how do they do it? They do have two young kids. And I was like, how does your system work? And so what the wife was telling me is she said she doesn't want to be really hands-on with the money because, again, you're dealing with work stuff. And she just says, you know what? I don't want to deal with this stuff in my life. But her husband loves crunching the numbers and doing all the work. So they have this system to where they make more than enough money to cover the bills, take care of the kids. But this is the interesting part. The wife gets an allowance. They're grown folks with two kids. Wife makes more money than the husband, but the wife gets an allowance every week. And here's how I responded. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever because allowance is usually for like little kids, but you're a full grown adult who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars and you have an allowance. And what she said is for them to keep the peace, she trusts her husband to take care of the house. Like take care of the financial house. Like he's good at it. He does it through his job at the bank. And so she's like, I trust him to take care of our financial house. And so for her, she just wanted kind of the easier life where she's like, I've given him two kids. I make more money than he does, but it's almost like she's willing to give up the responsibility. She already doesn't want to do it. So why fight it? And she says, so for them to keep the peace, he keeps the budget. He keeps her informed. He provides her reports. And then she gets like this spending allowance every week. So whatever she wants to do, she can do it. She has freedom. Freedom, that's what all people want. They want this freedom to be able to just live their life and do what they want to do and not what they have to do. So the fact that she's married and has a husband who cares about doing the work, who enjoys the work, it's very easy for them to have financial conversations because he provides the reports, she reads the reports. If she has questions, she can ask. So if you and your partner having some issues, maybe one of you needs to be on an allowance. So that was one story. The other one came from, well, actually I started doing this, but I talked to a lot of couples and they're always trying to figure out like when's a good time to talk money and when isn't. And I said, well, the easiest thing to do is schedule a meeting, like a recurring meeting on a calendar. Like you should send your partner an invite and just maybe it's, if you both get paid around the same time, sometimes closer to payday is an easy one because you just got paid. So let's have the meeting before we go pay the bills and do stuff. Or maybe it's just once a month. But the trick is you have to schedule this meeting. You have to schedule it. Whether it's twice a month, once a month, you and your partner, your significant other, the one you say you love, your boo thing, you have got to talk to them about money. And it's got to be ongoing. You don't just meet one month and not the next month. So every month you got to sit down and talk money. Make sure everybody's relaxed. You've had something to eat. Maybe you want to, have a bottle of wine or your favorite adult beverage or whatever you into to help relax you. You just want to have a good, comfortable, honest conversation about what the business, which is your family, what are y'all going to do? And how are you all going to move forward? So scheduling an appointment is the other trick that every couple should do and then you won't have issues around money. Well, you may, but at least you're talking them out. So you got the allowance story, you have scheduling the recurring meeting, and here's a big one for me that I coach a lot of my clients on. You got to have some separation, meaning I think you should have your money and they should have their money. For real, I believe in this. And then you should have a joint account. Like I think just for certain essentials like your mortgage or your rent, and I'll say food, and whether that's groceries, eating out, ordering food, whatever it is, you got to eat. You know, utilities, both of you are enjoying the lights, the heat, the hot water. Like certain things, you should just have money going into a pot collectively. Because again, you can save yourself having an argument later. Let me give you an example. So the food thing is funny because I'm not married yet. And at some point, I know my fiance and I are going to have joint accounts. So whenever we go out to eat, and she pulled this on me a couple of times, and I don't really care, but this one day I cared. So she got in front and ordered her food. And as soon as she ordered the food, she walked back, like walked away. So I had to place my order, and now I'm left paying the bill. And I just kept picking up on like, yo, she always sticking me for the bill. And so here's how I broke this. And this is one of my favorite things to do to when you're dealing with a significant other. This is I'll say it's the fairest way to settle any small dispute. So I order my food, and before I pull out my wallet, I literally turned around and said, oh, who's paying for this? She said, well, you right there. Go ahead and do it. And that's how I always got suckered into paying for meals. And I was like, she's good. So on this day, I said, you know what? Not today. Not going to happen again. So I turned around and I said, who paying? She was like, well, we didn't talk about it beforehand. So pause for a second. You got to communicate, y'all. We probably could have avoided this issue, but I didn't express my concerns to her about how she was ordering her food and walking away, leaving me with the bill. So back to the story. So I turn around. I say, hey, who's paying? She said, well, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but you're right there. So you should. I was like, oh, you're getting accustomed to me always placing my order second. So therefore now I'm stuck with paying the bill. I said, not today. I said, look, paper, rock, scissors. Swear to God, y'all, paper, rock, scissors is the best way to settle any small dispute. I'm talking 1 for 1. You don't do this best 2 out of 3, none of that. Just paper, rock, scissors. Old school. I know it's elementary, but it got right to the point. And so the lady taking my order, she's laughing like, yeah, they're seriously about to do paper, rock, scissors to decide on who's going to pay. So turn around, 1, 2, 3, shoot. She lost. I walked off. She had to pay for the meal. And once she walked back out, and she had the look of disgust, like she lost. And nobody likes to lose, and we both have the money, but it was the principle of her losing to me. And she literally walks out with the receipt, pushes it on me and says, joint account. Boom. We didn't communicate effectively. I brought in paper, rock, scissors, solved this dispute. I didn't have to pay. She was a little salty. And we will be opening a joint account for food. And that's how that problem got solved. So I think you should have joint accounts for things like that, because I'm never going to argue. We're never going to have to play paper, rock, scissors ever again in front of a waitress or a cashier. I thought it was funny too, but I had to do something that would say, you know what? I think there's a better way than us having to always on the fly try to make a decision. And a lot of couples continue to do this. Look, you are with this person. You need to communicate. You need to create a system that works for you. I know a lot of couples do a lot of different things to take care of their financial house. So whatever you need to do to keep the peace, to have some seamless, we go through month by month, we don't have any issues. You got to put the program in place, whether it's the allowance, whether it's, having the monthly meetings or the bi-weekly meetings, whatever you have to do, whether it's, setting up the joint accounts for the essential expenses, you have to create this system. And whatever system works for you and the one you care about, it's a damn good system. All right. So that's my couple's advice for you today. If you and your significant other are not talking money, I need you to call me. set up a 15-minute call with me, hit the link in my bio, and you have got to get going on this. Your life will be so much easier if you can get past this money conversation. You're going to have other issues, so I can't solve all your problems, but hit me up. Let's get this phone call. Let's talk through a system that we can adopt and that, both parties can agree to, and then you just keep it moving. All right? I'll catch you all next time.